Max Verstappen, ever since winning the 2021 World Drivers' Championship, has been miles ahead of the rest when it comes to anything on the track. Yes, the Red Bull has been one of the fastest cars for the last 2 seasons, but that is nothing to take away from Max Verstappen. Every single time a race weekend rolls around, you just have a feeling that he will win and dominate as he has done in the past. In 2022, he broke a record that many thought would never be broken, and that was winning 15 times in a single season, which has never been done before. He has shown all of the fans who either watch at the track or at home that he is a driver like nobody else on the grid at this very moment in time. He just has a load of confidence every time he steps into the car, and you just know that he will perform well and not have any accidents, just like he did in the past. He has become this unstoppable force that you just think will win non-stop until the day he leaves Formula 1, which may be sooner than many people think, and we will talk about that later on in the video. Verstappen is just the best right now, and it may continue for a very long time. If he is given a car like this year's and last year's Red Bull, that's for certain. Today, we will be talking about how Verstappen is the best and could win many titles, how he showed his class in the streets of Monte Carlo, and finally, how he could leave the sport very soon. Let's get right into it. Max Verstappen is a back-to-back world champion, but we are certain that this will not be the end of his dominance in the sport. He will more than likely win the 2023 championship unless Perez can stop him, but Max is still the favourite, and he will probably lift a trophy come the end of the season. Max, ever since he has had a championship-winning car, has matured a lot. Prior to 2021, he would have had these silly little incidents which will cost him, but it seems like he has removed them from his game and he is seeing the rewards for doing so. Even if you hate the man, you have to accept that he is the best right now, and nobody else comes close to him at this very moment in time. Everything he touches turns into gold and is almost perfect. He could be the one to lead Red Bull to win every single race of the season with the help of Sergio Perez. If the team are able to do this, it will be an unbelievable achievement. They do have the fastest car by a mile, but other teams who have had the best car in the past have not been able to do it. Verstappen is the leader of Red Bull and is the one who is sending them into this dominance, and it is why he is the best around right now. His pace is world class, and he is able to be consistent on every single track and in nearly every single session of the weekend. He will, for sure, go down as one of the best drivers to ever be in Formula 1 when he finally retires. But when will that be? Stay tuned to find out. Many people will argue and say, well, he has the best car and there are no other challengers to them, which is true, but he is the one in control of the car, and he is showing his performance. He is beating his teammate regularly. That is all he can do. When his back is also against the wall, he is still able to pull performances out of the bag when nobody else expects it. Several times over the last 2 seasons, he's been unlucky in qualifying and started far back on the grid. But on nearly every single occasion, he would come forward and get the win, and when he would not be the one to settle for P2. He is always wanting the best, and that is a sign of a great championing, but also a driver at the top of his game. What are your thoughts on Max Verstappen? Is he the best driver on the grid right now? Or do you think it is all the car that is making him dominate everyone else? Let us know what you think about the Dutchman below. Our next topic is regarding his most recent performance in Monaco and how he showed how good he really is. Max Verstappen, of course, won the Monaco Grand Prix, but there's much more to talk about regarding that win in the streets of Monte Carlo. For starters, we have to look at qualifying. With his teammate going out in Q1, which was his closest rival to the pole, all of the pressure was on Max to take advantage of the situation. In his final run in Q3, it was looking like he would not be starting on pole and maybe as low down as P5 as it stood. But the Dutchman had something to say about that. He was down 2/10 going into the final sector, where it is normally very hard to make up time. The Red Bull, however, was very strong in the final sector compared to the provisional poleman Fernando Alonso, whose car was very poor in the final sector. Max Verstappen did the unthinkable and somehow pulled 2.5 tenths out in the third and final sector. And we still don't know how he did it. He left no margin for error and just licked the stamp and sent it and gave it his all because he knew how important it is to start on pole position in Monaco. Getting pole here meant that he was near enough guaranteed to finish the race on Sunday at the top, step off the podium, and that was the case come at the chaotic race on Sunday. Even though the race provided a lot of drama with the rain and drivers crashing and colliding with each other, Max stayed calm and made the right decisions at the right time. He chose to pit for intermediate tyres at the correct time, which meant that he was able to pull out a massive lead on the rest of the pack, so much that his closest competitor, Fernando Alonso, was a whole 27 seconds behind him. To pull out this much of a gap on everyone else on the shortest track on the Formula 1 calendar is very impressive, and it was one of the drives of the season, and once again showed why Max Verstappen is the best driver on the grid. Monaco was a mad race, but the best of the best kept their cool, and Max did this. But will he keep his cool and cruise to his third and back-to-back World Championships? I guess we'll have to wait and see what Sergio Perez has to challenge him. Moving on to our third and final topic, which is how Max Verstappen could be leaving the sport much sooner than everyone thinks. He's been in the sport for a long time, since he was 17, which is coming up 8 years in the sport. He is just 25. He has been in and around racing since he was a little boy, and he has hinted that he may step back from the intense sport that is Formula 1. Max, at the weekend of the Monaco Grand Prix, said this regarding his future. "I know that I will be 31 when it's the end of my contract. At that point already, I would have been in Formula 1 for a very long time, and it's a lot of work. It's travelling a lot. Not only the races, but in between you're travelling to the factory. You have marketing commitments, and I'm really a person who loves to be at home." From this, we can gather that Max is maybe getting sick of the sport, even though he is winning a lot. If the car does not become competitive anymore in the near future, he could easily step away from the sport and become a what-if story. He could stay in the sport for another 15 years if he wanted to, and could easily break records upon records, but that is not what he wants to do. He may leave earlier than people expect him to, which could be kind of a shame. It's all down to what Max is feeling once he comes to the end of his Red Bull contract. It is something to keep a very good eye on for one of the best drivers to leave the sport so early. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one.